Hey folks, my name's Ed Trevors. My pronouns are he, him, and his. I'm an Anglican priest serving in the beautiful parish of St. Margaret of Scotland that sits on the ancestral and on the unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. Gwe. So last week I did a video about how we should treat each other. I talked about how we should offer correction. And in the video, I said we really shouldn't unless we have a relationship, and that we should focus on the relationship. The relationship between us and those around us should be of primary importance. It's absolutely the most important thing for us to focus on. We shouldn't be focusing on how other people live. We shouldn't be focusing on the mistakes they make. We should be focusing on the relationship between us and them, because it's through that relationship, through the establishment of love and trust, the understanding that we are there for them always and forever, that change can actually be effected. Now, I know what I said, and I know why I said it. There was a Christian author on Twitter who was, she was saying some pretty horrible things about some people that she has no understanding of. Some pretty horrible things about people she does not know. Some pretty horrible things about people she has no relationship, and probably most important, no desire to have a relationship with. And I thought, well, geez, Ed, you once did a video about a guy in Texas and you called him an asshat. And you've done videos about people that you don't know and you've called them falfits. Aren't you doing the same thing? I am. And I'm not. I am doing the same thing. I'm using derogatory language to speak against people that I don't know, people that I don't have a relationship with. I wouldn't be opposed to having a relationship with those people. I wouldn't. But I don't have one with them now. They don't know who I am. I don't really know who they are. The difference is I do know what they are saying, because those people are in positions of leadership. Those people are have assumed positions of power and authority over others. In most cases, they have been raised up to those positions by the people they are speaking to. But they have assumed, they have accepted the responsibility that comes with being men and women of repute, with a reputation, with a voice that is heard and magnified and trusted by many, many, many people. See, I think perhaps in the last video I needed to go a little bit further. I should have said something like, we need those relationships with people, and we don't speak down to people, and we don't kick at people who are on the edges of our society. We try to establish relationship, and we do everything we can to make sure they know how much we love them, and we do everything we can to build a relationship of trust. But it is okay. It is okay for us to speak against those in positions of power. It's okay for us to offer corrective words to people who are in positions of power. It is okay for us to use the example of people in power in order to teach others what we should do and what, in this case, what we should absolutely not do. How we should speak, and in these cases, how we should absolutely not speak. It's okay. This author who went on in Twitter to talk about how, Jesus used this kind of language. Jesus mocked people, as she said. That cut me kind of harsh, because I don't like to think of Jesus as a mocker. Now, Jesus, I don't believe, mocked. I don't believe he used his words ever to be cruel to people, which is really our understanding of mocking today. But he did call Herod a fox. He did call the Pharisees of his day, snakes, vipers, hypocrites. He did call people are fools, people are blind. He did say those kinds of words. But in all of those situations, again, Jesus never kicked down. He never said those things about the people he was teaching. He never said those things about people who came to him for advice, for wisdom, for comfort, for healing. He never said those things to or about people who were on the margins of their societies and cultures. He never said those things about people who, by no fault of their own, were in the places they were in. He said these things exclusively towards and about people of authority. People who had sway over others. People whose voices had power within his community. People whose voices were trusted. People whose voices mattered to the members, to his friends, and to his family, and to his neighbors. I'm about to do a couple of videos here, and I think this has been a major block for me. Trying to figure out, am I okay in saying these things? The answer is yeah. It's okay for us to speak to power. It's okay to share our opinion about the policy, the behaviors, the words, the ideologies, the theologies of people in power. It's okay for us to use them as examples of people to emulate, of behaviors to emulate, of words and patterns to emulate. And it's okay for us to use them as examples of what we should avoid in this life, how we should avoid acting in this life, how we should avoid speaking in this life. And for that matter, it's okay for you to do the same to me as well. It's not okay for us to kick down, but it is okay for us to demand more, demand better of those who have assumed a place at the head table. Myself included. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord's face be made to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord's countenance be lifted up to you. May you always know the peace of being in the Lord's presence. And I pray that we will know who we are speaking to and who we are speaking about. That we will never, ever use our words or our actions against those who are already vulnerable in our world. But that we will be willing to speak up, speak out against those who are misusing the power, the authority, and the trust that they've been given. Amen. Nemultus.